We're still reading about my two favorite topics, music and meditation, or music in meditation, or on the chapter on music in meditation, of the meditation poets. Now we're reading from the poets Strode and Norris. William Strode, in commendation of music, when whispering strains do softly steal, with creeping passion through the heart, and when at every touch we feel our pulses beat and bear apart, when threads can make a heartstring shake, philosophy can scarce deny the soul consists of harmony. So he's saying that the soul consists of harmony.
It's beautiful, the whole poem, everything.
Upon heavenly joy we feel, whatever the soul affecteth the most, which only thus we can explain by music of the winged host, whose lays we think make stars to wink. Now the stars are winking. Philosophy can scarce deny our soul consists of harmony, so you can't deny it. And lure me, he says, lure me. He's lured, or lull me, charming air. My senses rock with wonder sweet. Like snow on wool thy fallings are. Soft like a spirit's are thy feet. Grief who need fear, that hath an air. Down let him lie, and slumbering die, and change his soul for harmony. He's getting in touch with harmony. The Doctrine Expounded. Strofe and Norris will do analysis and reread it. It is primarily to the problem of personal devotions. It's primarily to the problems of personal devotion than to the use of music as a figure for the harmony of musica humana. That many 17th century poets put some of the inherited traditions of speculative music. It will be noticed that it is primarily a metaphysical diction and metaphorical texture, with its ability to wrench conventional figures into new roles that animates the poems we have been examining. The movement of English poetry in the later part of the century towards the full-blown Augustan diction of the age of Dryden did little to nourish the traditional use of such musical images, as far as the serious use of musica speculata is concerned. The devotional tradition exhausts most of the cases. Versification of doctrine or of contemporary speculation becomes a sorrier business as the century progresses. Here's a little poem. O praise with heart the Lord, O now accord viols with singing voice, let 10-string instruments, O now be band to witness your rejoice. Then lo, then I will with sweet music skill, grateful meaning show thee, the Lord, the God, ye my God, will sing abroad with what great thanks I owe thee. We're continuing with William Strode's in commendation of music, for example, is not really a traditional 16th century encomium musicae so much as a gracefully turned piece of wit on the same theme of the harmonic composition of the soul, upon which the meditative poets, all boys, base their musical conceits. So they're just saying that the soul is harmonic. That's what they all base it on. When whispering strains.
Soul is like God, it's of
This
The
is
most
reading
beautiful
from
sentiment has harmony.
William Strode. We haven't heard of this guy. We're learning about new poets here.
It's good. I like
Strad. Is
I
that where
like
you
that
strad
poem.
about? Strad? Go strading.
We should read more of
Strad.
those poets that we like.
Would you like to go for a strad?
I like the
A
theoretical
stroll
one.
with Strad. When whispering strains do softly steal with creeping passion through the heart, and when at every touch we feel our pulses beat and bear apart, when threads can make a heartstring shake, philosophy can scarce deny the soul consists of harmony. See, try to deny it. When upon heavenly joy we feel fain, whate'er the soul affecteth the most, which alone only thus we can explain by music of the winged host, whose lays, we think, make stars to wink. Philosophy can scarce deny our souls consist of harmony. Ah, oh, me, charming air, my senses rock with wonder sweet. Like snow on wool thy fallings are. Soft. What's that snow on wool? What's snow on wool like? Soft like spirits are thy feet. Grief, who need fear, that hath an air. Down let him lie, and slumbering die, and change his soul for harmony. He's getting changed into harmony. This poem, which appeared in the Miscellany of 1658, its author having died in 1645, was being written, of course, at the time when philosophy was making just such a denial. Well, they were claiming there wasn't harmony in the soul, so he says, try to deny it. There were some philosophers who have already mentioned that Cambridge Platonists of this regard who were not doing so, however. The founder of that group, himself a poet, demonstrates for us his professional philosophical competence in his exposition of the anti-Cartesian musical theory, which might be said to represent of the Cambridge group. So he's can be considered a professional philosophical competence in his exposition of anti-Cartesian music theory. Are you an anti-Cartesian music theorist? Are you against the stripping away the harmony? So you are anti. You will be a Cambridge Platonist. We are Cambridge Platonists, and we're in a battle here with the anti-Cartesian music theorists, who might be said to represent of the Cambridge group. John Norris lived a full generation later than Cudworth or Moore. He was one of Herbert's successors as rector of Burmerton. So Norris is another poet. In, quote, a letter concerning love in music, he discusses the question, quote, whether music be essential or intellectual pleasure. Dear, is music essential or an intellectual pleasure?
Sense.
I can't believe they had these questions.
It affects,
Sometimes my eyes glaze over these philosophical questions. Is it essential or intellectual?
although the music from within that we hear,
It's intellectual?
it is spiritual, it's not
Spiritual.
intellectual.
It's not even intellectual, it's spiritual. Having distinguished between these with respect to the mediating role of the body.
Intellectual may be as far as the fact that you
Let's
know
see.
the knowledge.
Let's see what Norris says. Now, quote, now according to this measure, it seems most reasonable to define the pleasure of music to be properly intellectual. For though sound singly and absolutely considered, which is the material part of music, be a sensation, that is a sentiment in the soul resulting from some movement of the body. And so the pleasure that arises from hearing it be accordingly essential pleasure, as truly, though not so grossly as smelling or tasting is, yet the harmony and proportion of sounds, that is, which is that wherein music formally consists, is an abstract and intelligible thing, and the pleasure arises not from our bodily movement as the other does, but from the soul, its self-contemplating beauty. So the pleasure comes from the soul, itself contemplating the beauty and agreement to it. So, do you think the soul agrees?
The soul, if all of the souls are the same, like part of God,
why don't they all enjoy good
have
music?
The same pleasure. They should all enjoy.
Then why don't they all listen to Bach, dear?
They should all enjoy Bach and not the rap.
Why are they listening to rap?
It doesn't happen that way.
How come? To which beauty and agreement that it is in sounds is purely accidental give the soul, since the soul would be pleased with the same proportion whatever it finds it. Nor is it proper to say that we hear music. That which we hear is only the sound, which is a sensation in ourselves, but the music part we properly think and contemplate as an intelligible beauty, in like manner as we do the beauty of truth. Do you think we contemplate it similar to the beauty of truth? And consequently the pleasure of it.
Both. How can you take the truth out?
And consequently the pleasure of it must be as much intellectual as that of the other is, to all which it may be added in the last part, that music formally consists in proportion, and proportion pleasing only as understood. The pleasure of it must needs be intellectual.
No, now, you see, somebody plays music and all the animals gather around
the animals.
To enjoy it. Do they intellectually enjoy it?
The animals?
No.
I'm not so sure they enjoy it intellectually, exactly.
No, they can. Or a baby listens to the music, they like the music. Do they enjoy it intellectually? Maybe the one who enjoys music intellectually is somebody who writes music, who understands of how to
somebody who writes
knowledge. It? Yeah. Somebody who writes music, who understands a composer, somehow he has the intellect of music, he can intellectually enjoy it because
we didn't read from Norris, but we did read a passage from Norris's discussion. We read a poem of Strode and a discussion from Norris in the Doctrine Expounded. We were reading from the Untuning of the Sky. We wondered how the harmony had gotten disconnected from the soul. And they stopped listening to the music of the spheres. When the students at Harvard, Oxford, and Cambridge